Two different people were actually asking a pretty similar question. The first one was like, I was surprised hearing the importance of social media on the podcast, and somebody else that was asking like, I have everything ready on my website, I have my lead generation ready, I have my opt-in offer, like how can I now start growth hacking my website basically?
So I think that the customer first approach that we talk about is a way to do that. Because this is, see, growth hacking is basically the wrong term here. Let's put this into context for a second, right? Growth hacking comes from a Silicon Valley style business model where the goal is growth. And this, I think this is something we have to be aware of and we have to be a bit careful about. The things we read about, if you read TechCrunch, or actually if you read almost anything, right? The stuff that comes in like the startups and companies that are mentioned in news, they generally follow this Silicon Valley model, which works like this. You build a company and you try to get as much growth as fast as possible. The goal is, and this is why usually these are free services, free trial, this kind of thing, right? Because you just want the numbers. You want to be able to get in front of a panel of venture capitalists and show them the graph, the hockey stick graph, right? Where you say, look, here's where we launched. People are just flooding into this. This is the next big thing. Give us money. And the venture capitalists say, yes, we're excited about this. Here's, $100 million. And then what you do is you invest $100 million into even more growth so that you can go public. So then you want to show that, look, we got this venture capital funding and our growth spiked up even further. So now we're going to do IPO. We're going to do a public offering and make even more money. And then if you're the founder, you're basically like, okay, now I'm ejecting, right? Because now there's like a board of directors and there's a CEO, that we hired, and basically whatever. I got like $100 million. I'm done. I'm going to move on to the next thing. And the business itself is just like, well, we have all these users, we have all this engagement. That's what we're building this for, users and engagement, right? Growth, faster growth. And I guess at some point we can figure out how to make money from this. At huge scale, this tends to work, right? So Facebook is a great example of that. Just grow, billion users, and then put an ad network on it. And then you make a ton of money. Okay, good, well done. In many cases, it doesn't work out that way. But you have to be aware that like the goal of growth, like that, accelerated growth, and this talk about growth hacking is all about that. You want to get all these users so you can get venture capital money. This is not my recommended approach. I don't think you should build a business like that. Unless if you see an opportunity that is clearly that kind of thing, but I wouldn't pursue a business model like that. So the way I think of it is basically don't try to growth hack your business. Instead, this customer first idea is get paid as soon as possible and get feedback from people who will pay you, who are paying you now and who will pay you in the future as soon as possible. So my approach to business is much more the 1,000 true fans idea than the venture capital growth Silicon Valley idea. So the goal is get 1,000 people who are passionate fans who talk to you and who will buy anything you put out. If you have 1,000 people whom you understand well enough that you know exactly what they need and you can deliver extreme value to them, and you sell something, a course, a service, a thing for $1,000 to 1,000 people, you've made $1 million, right? If you fail at that, then maybe you make only like $50,000, and that's pretty good too. Whereas if you fail at the growth hacking and you don't get funded, you make $0, and you've probably burnt $50,000 to get there. What I'm trying to say is this is the approach I take, and this is how I built my business as well, and how it's still growing. Is like basically step by step, right? Get a few customers so that you have a real idea of this is who will buy my product. You have proof that they will give you money. You can develop your product and improve your product in interacting with that audience, and you slowly grow that. So don't be concerned about growth hacking. Be concerned about getting paid, even if it's just by one person right now. Now, what I would also like to know is, if you're hearing me say this and you say, okay, this makes sense, but it doesn't work for my business, then I'd like to know that, right? If you're thinking this doesn't work for my business, then tell me what your business is so that we can take a look at this and we can figure out if we need to come up with another strategy for you, or if we can talk about how to apply this strategy to your business. That's something I'd be really interested in.
In the meantime, there's one thing that I want to add about the whole social media discussion, because while we do use social media to reach people, there's a huge difference between building your business solely based on social media and using social media as a means to an end to get to those first customers. And I think that's a really important distinction that we have to make here, where it's not as if we're telling, like, spend all your time posting stuff on Facebook. No, we're saying to go there where your customers or your potential customers are and engage with them, and then bring them back to your website, have them sign up for your list, have them pay for your coaching.